When they look happier without you, it's easy to think you were the problem. Today, we're going to challenge that lie. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you clicked on this video, I know exactly where you are. You've caught a glimpse of their new life, and it feels like your world has been turned upside down. Seeing them seemingly thrive with someone new, as if they're happier now than they ever were with you, is a soul-crushing experience. I want you to know that you aren't alone in this heavy sense of being replaceable. That pain you're carrying is the weight of betrayal, and today we're going to unpack why this perfect new chapter they're presenting is actually a hollow performance designed to keep you stuck. What you're witnessing isn't growth. It's a fragile illusion built on the same broken foundation you endured. The pain you are feeling stems from believing a fundamental lie that the new person is receiving the real version of the narcissist, the version they never allowed you to see. You feel like the narcissist finally found the key, the person who made them capable of sustained happiness and stability. But let me set the record straight. The narcissist is an emotional black hole, and their capacity for genuine, unconditional love and stability hasn't changed simply because they switched supplies. They just put on a different mask for the new audience, and that mask is currently fresh, shiny, and perfectly adjusted, which is why the early phases always look like a movie poster. Imagine the narcissist is a broken vending machine. You poured in quarters, maybe dollar bills, a fortune's worth of emotional investment, time, and effort, and you got nothing but crumbs, or perhaps a soda can that was halfway crushed. Now, the new supply comes along, puts in a single quarter, and suddenly the machine works perfectly, delivering the prize you worked so hard for. This visualization is what traps us. We think, if only I had done X, or the new supply must be the lucky one. Stop right there. The machine didn't fix itself. The narcissist simply reset the mechanism. The machine will inevitably jam again, and when it does, the new supply will experience the exact same frustration, devaluation, and discarding that you endured. Your mind is currently fighting itself because you were deeply invested in the possibility of that person changing. When you see them seemingly thriving, it invalidates your suffering and makes you question your reality. You think, maybe I was the problem all along. That is the deepest cut of the narcissist's abuse, and it is entirely psychological warfare. The new supply is not a reflection of your failure. They are simply the next step in the narcissist's inevitable pattern, and understanding this pattern is step one toward reclaiming your peace and sanity. This cycle never stops unless the narcissist undergoes years of intensive, painful therapy, which, as we know, is extremely unlikely because they fundamentally believe they are perfect. Let's discuss the role of the new supply for a moment, and I need you to approach this with compassion, not jealousy. They are the unknowing next victim. Right now, they are in the intensive love-bombing phase, being showered with attention and affection that feels overwhelming and intoxicating. They are being told they are the best, the most beautiful, the only person who truly gets the narcissist. They are seeing the future through rose-colored glasses, completely unaware of the carefully crafted, predictable cycle the narcissist has established. They are essentially living your life, just a few months or a year behind the current date, and that should give you a profound sense of relief, not envy. The truth is, the narcissist needs supply to regulate their unstable self-esteem. They are not choosing the new supply because that person is inherently better. They are choosing the new supply because that person provides a fresh, untapped source of validation. You, unfortunately, had become expired supply. Because you saw the cracks, you questioned the behavior, and you dared to hold them accountable. The new supply hasn't asked any hard questions yet, and their mirror is currently reflecting back only the most flattering image. That is all the narcissist cares about. What does this mean for your healing journey? It means you have to radically pivot your focus. Stop looking over your shoulder to watch the slow-motion car crash that is the new relationship. Your job now is to turn the camera lens 180 degrees and focus exclusively on the breathtaking, complicated, brilliant person standing in front of the lens. You. Every second you spend comparing your painful reality to their polished fantasy is a second you are handing back to the narcissist, allowing them to still control your emotional state from afar. And we are shutting that door right now. The urge to check their social media or to ask mutual acquaintances how they are doing is an addiction, a compulsive need to confirm the toxicity is still operating. We treat this like any other addiction. Cold turkey. Total, immediate, and permanent no contact isn't just a strategy, it's self-preservation. Block them everywhere. Mute the mutuals. Cleanse your digital space so that you create a sterile environment where healing can actually begin, unpolluted by their manufactured drama. I know how difficult it feels to sever that connection, but think of it as removing a festering splinter that keeps poisoning your system. I want to talk about validation because this is key to moving past the new supply pain. Your pain is valid. Your anger is justified, and your grief is real. You are mourning not just the loss of the person you loved, but the loss of the future you believed you were building. You are grieving the reality that you were deceived, and that is a massive emotional weight to carry. Don't let anyone, especially the narcissist's narrative, minimize that struggle. You were in a toxic environment, and you got out. That is a victory. Let's allow ourselves a human sense moment here. It hurts when you feel replaced because it attacks your core sense of worthiness. It makes you feel disposable. But understand that the narcissist is a master of temporary connection. They dispose of people not because the people are flawed, but because the narcissist cannot maintain depth, vulnerability, or true intimacy. You were not disposable. You were simply too complex and too real for a person who only deals in surface-level projections. They didn't replace you. They replaced the role you played. That role could be filled by anyone, proving that the transaction was never about your unique value. When you look at that happy picture of the new supply, I want you to mentally overlay it with the timeline. Remind yourself that within 6 months to a year, that happy smile will likely be replaced by confusion, anxiety, and the beginnings of devaluation. You have the gift of hindsight. You know exactly how this story ends. You are no longer trapped in the plot. You are the author of a new, better book about recovery and strength, which is infinitely more valuable than starring in their tragic rerun. Don't trade your freedom for the fleeting, toxic drama of their current narrative. The healing journey is not linear, and there will be days when the pain of the replacement feeling hits hard. On those days, be gentle with yourself. Allow the sadness, but don't allow the rumination. Shift the energy from, "Why are they so happy?" to, "What can I do right now to make myself happier?" Focus on small wins. Drinking water, going for a walk, spending time with people who treat you with consistent kindness. Your focus must become self-parenting and radical self-care. We often define winning in this scenario as seeing the narcissist fail or seeing the new supply suffer. That is a trap because it keeps you emotionally tethered to their destruction. True winning is redefined by silence. True winning is achieving a level of indifference where you genuinely forget they exist for hours, then days, and eventually forever. True winning is realizing that their life, no matter how shiny the Instagram post, has absolutely no bearing on your peace, your success, or your future. I want to share a very brief personal realization that might help. I remember when the person I had been with moved on almost instantly. I obsessed over the new partner. She was blonde, sporty, totally different from me. For months, I convinced myself she was the perfect fit and that I had been wrong about everything. Then, months later, I ran into an old mutual acquaintance. I asked, simply out of habit, "How are they doing?" The mutual acquaintance just sighed and said, "It's awful. He tells everyone she's perfect, but she looks hollow, constantly walking on eggshells, trying desperately to keep up the facade for his approval." That single conversation was a monumental realization. It wasn't just a rumor. It was the confirmation that the performance was the same, only the actors had changed. The narcissist doesn't build healthy relationships. They build elaborate stages for emotional manipulation. And the most valuable lesson is realizing that the new supply is a reflection of the narcissist's need for attention, not a reflection of your lack of value. The narcissist needed supply. You needed freedom. You got the better end of that bargain, even though it doesn't feel like it yet. You have escaped the fire. Let them stand in the kitchen and argue over who gets to hold the matches next. Your life is waiting for you, filled with authentic people and genuine connections that don't require you to sacrifice your soul. You are powerful, you are resilient, and you are so much stronger than you know. Please, everyone watching, remember this. The ultimate goal is not to hate the narcissist or the new supply. The goal is to love yourself so fiercely that their entire existence fades into irrelevant background noise. You deserve peace, and you deserve a life lived entirely on your own terms. If this video helped you shift your perspective even slightly today, let me know. Drop a comment below and share one tiny victory you've achieved since going no contact. If you want to continue strengthening your healing journey, consider subscribing so you don't miss our next video. Be kind to yourselves this week, and I'll catch all of you in the next one. Until then, keep thriving.